Let's solve passage 1. Maintaining an ecosystem just to conserve biodiversity will affect its commercial potential as well as livelihood dependent on the ecosystem. If you just keep conserving biodiversity, meaning the environment aspect of the nature, to it will affect the commercial aspect as well as livelihood dependency aspect, meaning only to protect the environment aspect, you will let go the economic aspect of lives of people. Let's say. Then the second idea is there is also a conflict using ecosystem only for livelihoods, meaning first case said only environment, second case said only economy. If there is a conflict between using ecosystem only for livelihoods, only for commercial exploitation, or strictly for conservation. So only one aspect is not good. Ideally, it should be a balance between both economy and environment aspects. Deforestation caused by exploitation will lead to indirect harms like floods, siltation problems, and microclimatic instability, apart from adversely affecting livelihoods dependent on forest. These conflicts are particularly acute in developing countries. What kind of countries more acute? Developed, developing, least developed, different kinds of countries that. Here, the focus is entirely on developing countries. Why so? Why is it so? Why? Because the dependency of people on the ecosystem is significant. Commercial exploitation has the potential to boost national income, because developing countries use this more. So overall, what is this passage talking about? Environment, economy, need to balance, something like that, right? Here, the focus word is critical message. You need to pick up the critical message in the paragraph. Let's look at each statement. Conservation of biodiversity is not an issue. Anyway, they said conservation of biodiversity is not an issue. Conservation of biodiversity is the issue. It should have a rightful balance. That's all. To be worried about when some people are dependent on ecosystem for their livelihood. No, it's not talking about only one-sided thing. This is quite extreme also. So this naturally is a wrong statement. Conservation of biodiversity is the issue here. Then, commercial exploitation of forest goes against the fundamental rights of the people to depend on forest for food and shelter. Commercial exploitation of the forest doesn't go against. Again, here the focus is on how to balance economy and environmental aspects, not just like one aspect. Is never trying to dominate one aspect over the other. Third, sustenance of livelihood. One is livelihood sustenance. This is economic aspect, livelihood sustenance. Next is degradation of ecosystem. This is environment aspects. While being together, while in this conflict or in this tussle, what is happening is this actually exaggerate one another, leading to conflicts and imbalances. What? It fuels one another, it adds up to one another, right? This is the actual essence of the passage, right? There's a tussle which is happening between economic aspect and environment aspect, right? Let's look at option 4 also. Commercial exploitation of the ecosystem should be completely stopped. Did anywhere we speak about completely stopping? This, don't you think completely stopped is much of an extreme word? Clearly, completely stopping is an extreme word and goes against. Never they said. This not is a negative term. Thank you. In the previous question, we saw the critical message. Now, let's focus on the assumption part. The passage says, maintaining an ecosystem just to conserve biodiversity will affect its commercial potential as well as livelihood dependency on the ecosystem. So, we have seen the tussle between economy and environment and the effect of deforestation and the conflicts and the focus on developing nations. Now, let's look at the assumptions. No country needs to depend on ecosystem to boost national income. In the whole of the passage, we have talked about the relationship between economy and environment. There is nothing like no country needs to depend. Countries needs to depend on. So this is factually wrong and exactly opposite to what is being told in the passage. Next. Resource-rich countries need to share their resources with those of scant resources as to prevent the degradation of ecosystem. Although here we mention about developing nations, but there is no mention about resource-rich countries or resource-poor countries or international collaboration or rich countries giving to poor countries. Nothing of that sort has been spoken about in the passage and no references have been made, so no assumptions can be made based on that. The answer is neither. The history of renewable energy suggests that there is a steep learning curve, meaning that the more is produced, the cost falls rapidly because of economics of scale and learning by doing. Here we are speaking about renewable energy and the steep curve. This is the cost curve which exponentially falls. Cost curve which falls. The cost falls rapidly because of what? 1. Economics of scale. 2. Learning by doing. The green firms innovations are path dependent, meaning innovation is path dependent. We'll see what is path in future. The more a firm does, the more it is likely to do it in the future. The strong evidence for this is the collapse of price of solar energy. This is what we are talking about, right? Which becomes 90% cheaper during the 2010s, repeatedly beating the forecast. If it was 100 rupees, now it's like just 10 rupees. Moving early and gradually. Here the focus is moving early. Importance is given to moving early or starting early. That is path 1. Gives economies more time to adjust, allowing them to reap the benefits of path-dependent green investment without much disruption. So if you start early and start gradually, it is an easy transition without much disruption. The second path here is talking about part 2. The more chaotic is costlier. A late and more chaotic. Late, this is late. This is early. This is chaotic. This is gradual. This is more costlier. Path 2 is more costlier. Path 1 is more reap the benefits, beneficial. So he's talking about two paths here. This is what he means when he says something like path dependent. Let's see the central idea here. Which of the following statement best reflects the central idea of the passage? Economic scale is essential to transition to green growth. We'll keep this as it is. Modern technology progress is intensely linked to path dependent. The path dependent thing is there. Is it intensely linked? Everything is linked to path dependent. Let's still keep it here like this. Countries with larger economies are in better position to adopt to greener economies. Did we anywhere mention about countries with large economy or small economy or mid-sized economy or developed economy? This is clearly an out of context or out of passage statement. Timing plays a crucial role in the case of green technology. True, right? We spoke about two paths. Path 1, path 2. Path 1 is early, gradual. Path 2 is chaotic and late. So this seems to be true, but let's look at A and B also. Economics of scale is essential to transition to green growth. Yes, this is an idea in the passage, but not central idea. This is one of the component idea of the passage, but not the main idea of the passage. The main idea of passage is D actually. Next, the modern technological progresses is linked to path dependent. True, but intensely linked to path dependent. That makes the statement false and more extreme in nature. Intensely. This term intensely makes the statement extreme in nature. So the answer is D. We have seen in previous passage the path dependentness under two paths. Let's look which of the following may be the assumption. Path dependent green investment will eventually most likely benefit the growth as well as public finances. This path dependent, what are the two paths? Early, late. This dependency will impact the growth and public finances of the country like India. Yes, what path we chose will impact the growth also, will impact the public finances also. That's why the focus was on path dependentness. Next, this assumption is actually true. If other green technologies follow the same pattern as that of solar energy, they will most likely be an easy green transitions. Yes, this is factually true. So one is definitely true. Can we call this as assumption? Maybe. So we have to wait till the UPSC gives the official answer key. Here the answer lies between somewhere one only or one, both 1 and 2. Few institutes had given 1 and few other institutes recommended both. So let's wait till UPSC gives the final answer key. A natural number n such that it is expressed in the form of n is equal to p plus q plus r, where p, q, r are distinct factors of n. How many numbers below 50 holds this property? Let's take the example of 2. 2 has factors of 1 and 2. It doesn't have 3 different factors. 3 is also a prime number which has only 2 factors. 4 has 3 factors, but if we add up, do we get 4? No, we get something more than 4. Let's take the example of 6. 6 has factors as 1, 2, 3 and 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 6. Why we can't say 6, take 6? Then only 6 will be equal to 6, and here n is equal to, in this equation n is also not there. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 6. Our job was to find out the smallest possible value. Then every multiple of that smallest possible value will hold true. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. Take 12. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. 12 is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 6. A combination of 3 factors will give me 12. This 12 is equal to 12. Let's take 48. 48 will be, which all factors will lead to 48? 8 plus 16 plus 24 will give me 48 is equal to 48. You have to search such possibilities. So answer is 8 such possibilities are there within 50. 3 prime numbers p, q, r, each less than 20 are such that p minus q is equal to q minus r. How many distinct possible values can we get for p plus q plus r? Let's say we have a arithmetic progression which looks like p, q and r. Difference between this is equal to difference between this. If I say, then that means p, q, r in AP, right? Arithmetic progression. Let's look at how many distinct. Here the focus entirely lies on the prime numbers which are less than 20. What are the prime numbers which are less than 20? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. We have to find the possible values which can be in the form of P plus Q plus R. And those are less than 20 and are prime. Meaning we need to find out these kinds of AP sequences which directly correlates to this. P minus Q is equal to Q minus R. Let's take example of 3, 5, and 7. Here the individual differences is 2. This verifies the same. Let's take one more cases wherein we will look at 3, 7, and 11. 3, 7, and 11. Difference is 4. The difference is also 4. Let's look another case of 5, 11, and 17. The difference is 6. The difference is 6. Let's look another case of 7, 13, and 19. Here the difference is 6. And here the difference is 6. So the set of possible values are 4 possible values. We will further discuss more concept regarding to arithmetic progression, which is in this form, and prime numbers in the classes. Check out the caption below. How many possible values of P plus Q plus R are there, satisfying 1 by P plus 1 by Q plus 1 by R is equal to 1, where P, Q, and R are natural numbers, not necessarily distinct. Let's consider this equation is equal to 1 in the form of graphical method to analyze this. Let 1 be considered as one whole circle. One whole circle can be divided into 3 parts, this being 1/3, this being 1/3, and this being 1/3. Again, this 1 can be further divided in other ways, like the whole half of it being called half. Here, half of half is 1/4. 1/4 is nothing but half into half. This thing is another quarter, which is again half into half. This time, instead of dividing the final 2 parts equally, we will divide it unequally. This part is half, and this part is 1 by 3, which is nothing but half into twice of third. We are dividing these 2 into 2 unequal halves. One unequal half is 2/3, another unequal half is 1/3. Since we are just doing the half of the circle, we have to multiply it by half here. Another part represents half into 1 by 3, which is 1 by 6. So we can do this in 3 methods. Since the denominator should always be a natural numbers, it can only be done by 3 methods. What comes at X and Y respectively in the following sequence? January, December, October, X, March, October, Y, and September. Between Jan to Jan, there is 0 months difference. Jan to difference, there is 1 month which we have gone back. December to October, we have 2 months where we have gone back. October to the next, which is July, we will go 3 months back. July to March, we'll go 4 months back. March to October, we'll go 5 months back. October to the next one, which is April, we'll go 6 months back. April to September, we'll be going 7 months back. So the answer is B. Team X scores a total of n runs in 20 overs. Team Y tied the score in 10% less overs. Had Team Y average run rate, runs per over had been 50% higher, the scores would have been tied in 12 overs. How many runs were scored by the team by Team X? Let's look at the problem. In 20 overs, whatever Team X had scored in runs, Team Y scored in 10% less overs. 10% of 20 is 2 overs less, which is equal to 18 overs. 18 overs they scored. So X, which scored in 20 overs, Y accomplished the same in 18 overs. Let's assume the condition. Here he has given 50% higher run rate. Y's average was 50% higher. How much would he do in 18 overs? He would have done 1.5 times of n, whatever he scored. If that scored 100, he would have done 150 runs in 80 overs because 50% higher run rate, right? Assuming the same condition of 50% higher run rate, in 12 overs, how much would he have done? In 18 overs, here, in 18 overs, he did 1.5 n. In 12, it would be x. X 18, cross multiplication, 18 into x is equal to 1.5 n into 12, which x is equal to 12 into 1.5 divided by 18. I have written the same thing here. 15 n into 12 by 18, 1.5 n into 12 by 18, 1.5 n into 2 by 3. 6 2s are 6 3s are. 1.5 I can write it as 3 by 2. Here, 2 by 3 cancel out and you get n runs. On 12 overs, they'll just score n runs, but the value of n is not at all given anywhere, right? So the answer is cannot be determined. The price P of a commodity is first increased by K%, then decreased by K%, again increased by K%, and again decreased by K%. If the new price is Q, what is the relation between P and Q? Let's say the increase in price is represented by 1 plus K by 100, which is the actual increase in percentage for every K% increase. The decrease is represented by 1 minus K by 100. K% decrease. Let's say it was like 10%, it would have been like 110, right? 100, 10% increase like 110. That's what this signifies. Decrease, 10% decrease is 90%. 10% decrease of 100% is 90%. That's why 1 minus whatever the decrease component is there, that percentage is for every 100. That's why you use a denominator for every 100. Let's further see. Q, the new price is, this component represents P into 1 plus K by 100, which is first increase. 1 minus K by 100, it is first decrease of K. Then this component 1 plus K by 100 is second increase, and 1 minus K by 100 is second decrease, as per the question stated. Next, what we do is, there are two similar terms, this term and this term, we group it together. You say P into 1 plus K by 100 the whole square. Again, there are two more similar terms, this term and this term, we group it and we say 1 minus K by 100 the whole square. Since both this and this is in the square form, we will put one complete bracket and a square after the bracket. This is in the form of a plus b into a minus b, which is a square minus b square. A plus b into a minus b. So we write a square minus b square. That's why we say p into 1 square minus k square by 100 square. P into, by taking denominator for the whole one also, 100 square minus k square by 100 square. If 100 square can be written as 10 power 4. Which goes that side. Since square is also there, 4 becomes 8. Q into 10 power 8 is equal to P into 10 power 4 minus K square. This whole part comes under the square.